guys, welcome back to Beloved Always. Hope you're all doing wonderfully well. So it is 2 years since I have been free from false hair, wigs, weaves, extensions, anything not my natural hair. And this was a journey that I went on in 2017 when I was just towards the end of my year abroad. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit today, kind of give you guys the full testimony. So I've always been natural my whole life. I have had natural hair. My mum never permed it, she never texturized it or put any chemicals in it. But I always hated it because I did feel as though it was ugly, it was hard to manage, it was not as beautiful as straight or loosely curled hair. And so I started covering up with wigs, weaves, extensions, braids, twists, and all of that sort of stuff. I learned to do my own hair, I did other people's hair, I knew how to do the latest styles, all of that sort of stuff. I was very invested in doing my hair. Like, it got to a point where I would do it every 2 weeks. So I'd do braids, take it out, do 2 weeks, do weave, 2 weeks, next hairstyle. I was just always searching for more, trying to fill some sort of void with hairstyles and weaves and wigs, and liking the affirmation and the praise I was getting from people. And I remember that whenever I took out my hair, when I had to wash it and stuff, I felt ugly, I felt bald, like I didn't have any hair, and I just couldn't wait to get it back into braids. So when I became a Christian and I came to Christ in 2014, I still kept on doing it. I kept on doing my hair, I kept on making wigs, making weaves, all of that stuff. It was not until when I went abroad, for my year abroad in 2016 to 2017, that things started to change. When I came out of this Western culture and I went into Eastern culture, because my year abroad was in Singapore, people questioned me about a lot of things I was doing. And one of the biggest things that I was questioning was my hair. People asked me, why are you wearing a wig? What's your natural hair like? All of these things that made me kind of think, why do I do the things I do? Is it because I'm in this sort of environment where it's normally accepted and it's praised and it's exalted that I do it? And is there any sort of biblical or spiritual insight that I've sought of the Lord in prayer to confirm whether or not I should be engaging in this? And that's when I got convicted about it. What God convicted me of was that it was an idol in my heart, and I used it to fill a void. I used it to feel beautiful. I had low self-esteem. I was insecure in so many different ways about my natural hair, and I wasn't being a good steward. I was not taking care of my hair. It was breaking, it was not thick, it wasn't well taken care of, because I knew that I could just put on a wig, or I can just put on a weave, or I could just braid it up. And he didn't want that for me. He wanted me to be free. I made a video towards the end of my year abroad when I decided that, you know what, I'm not gonna wear weave anymore. I told myself I'd give it a year and see. And that's what God wanted me to do. He was like, give it a year and see. And if you want to go back to your weaves and your wigs, fine. But if not, and you realize that there is liberty in this, then that's what I have for you, and that's what I want for you. So I remember filming the video and I was so insecure, I was so shy. I felt so bold, and like something had been stripped from me. And there was a lot of work that God needed to do, deeper than just the outward extensions. It was more of a heart thing that was just manifesting, and that was one of the fruit of all the things that was going on in my heart. So yeah, the year was up, and then I decided I'm actually not really sure I want to put weave and wigs back in. And then now I realize it's been 2 years since that time, and it's just wow, like my mind has changed so much, and I feel like I've grown into my natural hair. And I prayed the prayer to the Lord. I was like, God, if I do this thing where I actually stop wearing wigs, weaves, extensions, I need you to help me with my hair, because my hair was short. I mean, it wasn't like short mini afro, but it never reached past my collarbone. Like, it was always somewhere up here. The ends were very brittle, it was dry all the time, it broke a lot whenever I would try and manipulate it. Loads of things that made me feel like, God, this is not what you want for me in terms of my hair. And I prayed that, Lord, if I walk in obedience, please, I need you to bless me. You don't have to, but I need you to kind of bless me with hair. I need you to teach me how I should look after it. I need you to give me wisdom, and also have mercy on me for all the things that I did before, with my hair and not looking after it. And he has answered that prayer. Most times I wear my hair up in twists or braids with my natural hair, and I took it out I think a couple of days ago, and then I just said, oh, let me just check how long it is, like loose. My hair is actually 14 inches long, and that was just wow. Like, I did not in a million years think my hair would get that long. It's reaching brush strap length at the front and at the back. And obviously it's not about the length at the end of the day, but I mean, that's just a testimony to the fact that if you obey God, he will bless you and he will give you the thing that you're looking for in fake hair or in wigs and in weaves. And the thing is, I've always wanted thick long hair. That's the look I always went for when I did weaves or I did braids. I wanted it to be long, I wanted it to be thick and full. And if I can have that on my own crown, which is my glory from God, then that's just such a real blessing. So to answer the question, am I going to go back to wigs and weaves? My answer is no. And I'm going to give you 5 of the reasons why I'm not going to go back to wigs and weaves. And I know a lot of you are on your own natural hair journeys. I know a lot of you are battling with wigs and weaves and extensions and identity and self-esteem and insecurities. And I hope that this will kind of speak to you if this is where you are, because I have been there before. Like, it's very easy for someone to speak about something they have no knowledge of, but this is something I've actually had to walk through. And I've been on both sides. The side where I was heavily involved in my wigs, weaves, spending a lot of money, and now I'm in the side where I'm just literally leaving my hair as it is, wearing it out naturally, taking care of it, and being a good steward of what God has given me. All of these reasons are not for me to say you must stop wearing false hair or weave. I would say seek the Lord on that, because at the end of the day, I had heard it many times before, from aunties, from, you know, people on YouTube, that I shouldn't wear fake hair and stuff. But it wasn't until I actually looked inwardly and allowed God to speak to my heart and reveal the things that I was using it to cover up, that I actually realized and was convicted that, hold up, okay, this is true. The first reason why I'm not going back to weaves or false hair is because I've learnt self-acceptance, and I have learnt about self-esteem, being independent of how I look. I've learned to see that beauty is not a texture, it's not a length, and it's not a volume, it's none of these things. Beauty is me, because God has made me, and he's made you, and he's made you uniquely, so everything about you is beautiful and good. And there were really tough days where I would have a bad hair day, and I mean, like, when you have a wig or a weave, of course you can have bad hair days if you don't know how to look after it and stuff, but I mean less so, because the texture of the hair typically is straight, so you just pop it on and you go. But with your natural hair, you do have to kind of take time to understand what looks good, what doesn't look good, and sometimes you don't have time. And so I've had bad hair days where I felt really insecure, and I felt like, oh God, you know, I'm ugly now because my hair is not sleeked back, or my hair is not straightened, or my hair is not blown out. And it's taught me that on the good days and on the bad days, I can accept myself the way I am. I don't have to allow what other people think or the approval of men to dictate what I do with my life. If I'm living to please God, and God sees me and he sees me as beautiful and he loves me just the way I am, then I have no right to not see myself in the same way. My identity has become more firmly rooted in Christ, because it's another worldly thing that he's completely stripped me of. And I think the more you grow in the Lord, the more he's going to pull these things, these worldly things, away from you. It says in the word that we should love not the world and the things of the world, the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And wearing fake hair and false weaves for me was a pride of life. It was a lust of the flesh. I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted other people to view me a certain way. And it wasn't loving God. It wasn't loving him above all and embracing who he made me. One of the scriptures I kind of held onto during this time was in 1 Peter. And I'm going to read it out. It's 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 3. We all know this verse very well, but I mean, we need to hear the word again and again, don't we? Do not let your adorning be external, the braiding of hair, and the putting on of gold jewelry, or the clothing you wear, but let your adornment be the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious. The next big reason why I'm not going back is because I have learnt to be content. I have learned contentment through this. Like I mentioned before, I've always loved long, voluminous hair. I always wanted that. I always craved it, and I've learned that I should be content with my hair, no matter the length, no matter the volume. Because even though I'm young now and my hair can grow now and it can be thick now, as I get older, as I get more mature, as I grow old, my hair is going to start falling out. I'm going to go grey, it's going to thin, it's probably going to be shorter. And so if my identity lies in the fact that my hair is a certain length, or if my identity lies in the fact that my hair looks a certain way, it's a shaking foundation. And it kind of just goes back to the fact that our identity should be firmly fixed in Christ. That regardless of what may come in terms of our physical appearance, we're not shaken. We're the same person because our spirit lives on, and our spirit is rooted to Christ, and He is our anchor. When I first started this whole natural hair journey, I always said to myself, oh, if my hair would only get to X length, I would be confident, I would be happy. But it doesn't work like that. If you don't learn to be content with little, you will never be content even if you had it all. Even now, I find myself sometimes saying, oh, if my hair could just be waist length. Oh, if my hair could just be X length. So if you continually chase and chase and chase something that you don't have, you're never going to learn the art of contentment. Contentment is all about being happy and grateful for what you have. It doesn't mean you shouldn't strive for more, or you shouldn't pray to God for more. You can do that, and it's within your bounds, but at the same time, it's being comfortable and happy that, yes, I am grateful with what God has blessed me with, and I'm going to embrace that in this season. Regardless of whether or not that changes, I'm still going to be happy, and I'm still going to give Him glory. Godliness with contentment is of great gain. There's always going to be things in our life that we want to change or that we want to improve, but it's so important that we learn contentment where we are. The next reason why I'm not going back is because using my natural hair has taught me how to be simple and modest. It's taught me to not chase extravagance, to not chase loudness, and to kind of just be me, and be okay with that. I mean, when I was wearing false hair and all of that, the styles I did, the colors I used, the textures, it was all loud, it was all drawing attention to myself. God doesn't want us to be loud people. As women, we should be humble, we should be sober, we should be discreet and modest. And I think that was a huge thing that was a stumbling block for me. It stopped me from being all of those things, and it drew so much attention to myself, and I liked it because it was very carnal and it appeased my flesh. But now I just don't have that desire to have all of that attention on me anymore. Now my hair, like you've seen in my channel, most times it's in little twists that I tie back. Sometimes it's in a bun. It's just simple stuff that mean I don't have to spend ages of time on my hair. And it also means I'm not drawing unnecessary attention to myself, because at the end of the day, I want people to see me and see Christ, not see me and see me, or see me and see my hair. And hair was a definite stumbling block for me in that area. So I know that in order for me to stay in a place of being modest and simplicity in terms of the way I present myself, and also remain humble, I need to not do extravagant styles with my hair. The next reason I'm not going back to wearing false hair and wigs is because I have learnt to be obedient, and I have learnt to walk in liberty. So firstly, it was an issue of obedience because God told me, I don't want you wearing false hair. Like, give it a year and see. Give it a year and see. That's what He said to me anyway. And I chose that, okay, I'm going to walk in obedience to that. And I mean, if this is the path I have to take in order to obey the Lord, then I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And also liberty, He was correct. I mean, I've been so freed. At first, I didn't feel free. At first, I felt like I was in bondage because I didn't like my hair and it was very difficult for me. But now I feel free that I can go out and just wear my natural hair. I don't have to pop on a wig, or I don't have to get my hair braided up or braid it up myself. I can just show the world more of my authentic self, and I don't have to cover it up. I don't have to prop it up. I don't have to change it up. It can just be as it is. And for me, like I mentioned, it was idolatry, and God has definitely liberated me from the idolatry that I had with regards to vanity, with regards to image, and you know, wanting to be sexy, wanting to be attractive and seductive and all of that. God has definitely delivered me from that. And I wouldn't want to put myself back into bondage. It's like, you know, when the children of Israel left Egypt, some of them wanted to go back, and it's like, why would you want to go back to the land where you were enslaved? Of course, the road ahead is not easy, but that doesn't mean you should go back. And for me, that's like something I have in my heart, that no, I don't want to go back to that land of slavery again, and I want to continue to walk in my freedom and liberty and just see my hair thrive. And that kind of brings me on to the last reason why I'm not going back, and that's stewardship. I've learned to actually be a steward of my hair. I've learned how to prune it, I've learned how to nurture it, I learned how to be patient with it. I've learned how to learn what it needs in order to thrive, what doesn't work for it. And all of that is an investment which takes time. And I believe this is very analogous to what it takes to be a homemaker, to be a mother, and to have children and to have a husband. You know, you have to be a nurturer, you have to be a comforter, you have to invest time, you have to be patient. And if those are the skills that God is trying to instill in me now in order to prepare me for the future, then that's a blessing. It's not a quick fix thing. Like, natural hair is not a quick fix. It's not something that, oh, you know, you see all these videos where people say, oh, grow your hair 5 inches in 1 week. Don't believe the lies. I mean, it's going to take time, it's going to take endurance, it's going to take your work, and those are traits and characteristics that are so transferable into so many different areas of our spiritual lives. And I bless God that He actually used this to teach me that, and I know it's going to be invaluable in the future. So all in all, I guess my desire for fake hair, weaves and stuff, it's just gone from 100 to 0 to almost 0 now. And I'm happy that I was obedient to God and I took this journey. And I'm happy because I've also been able to save a lot of money and a lot of time that I've been able to invest into different things that the Lord wants me to invest them in. And I just want to encourage you that if you feel the pull of God to kind of go on a journey of embracing your natural hair, or go on a journey from purging you from low self-esteem, low confidence, you know, insecurity, all of those things with regards to your image and the way you look, then I would say seek the Lord as to whether or not this is for you. Like I said, I'm not imposing this on anybody. I don't want you to think that I'm judging you, or I'm saying that you must stop wearing wigs and weaves. This is just my personal experience. This is what God has spoken to me, and I know He wanted me to share it because it's been so long, and there's so many things that I believe can bless you if you are able to receive this word with humility and take it to God in order for Him to confirm it. I really hope this has encouraged you or given you something to think about. And if you're starting your natural hair journey, do comment below. Or if you're already on your natural hair journey, let me know where you are. Let me know how long you've been going for. Let me know if you have any worries, any struggles, and I will try and give you some tips and advice. I may do another video actually, because I do get asked a lot about my hair routine. So I may do that at some point, probably talking, not actually doing it, because I don't have those skills yet. So take care, have a wonderful weekend, and see you in my next one. Bye.